Hello, this is Pigsy doing another video. So I recently discovered that basically snails are able to regenerate their shell really well and regenerate their body because they've got some protein in them that allows them to regenerate quickly. And I think the protein's used in the human body as well. And the study was in a place in Crete, nobody had osteoporosis or any arthritis, so they had to study why, and they found out it's because their diet had snails in it. That's what it was. They were eating a lot of snails. So I've started taking a supplement that's made out of powdered snails. So I had one yesterday. I didn't know what. I think it does affect my brain actually. I started seeing some being purple with blooming red eyes. That's like started drifting off in my couch before I went to my bed and started visualising these things. I thought this is odd. I feel the mollusk inside me. So we'll see how that works. If it does work, you know, there's a lot of things out there that kind of they could be potentially a bit of a hoax, really. But I'll just go for the supplement and see what happens. My knee's not too bad. One of my knees seems to click a bit, so I can always look at the cartilage. So this thing, this protein allows you to regenerate cartilage better and bone, I think. Yeah, see what happens. Funny little spot the bloke put his van in. The other thing I want to quickly mention, probably that no contact in family, that can be quite difficult. Especially with a bit of MGTOW, you've gone through the divorce, you've done all that, or you're down the line and then suddenly you're told that you can't see your children, or whatever. Because I guess for women in the relationship, they're the social builders, and so they're the architects of the relationship for their children. They start putting things in their life to direct them into a, you know, to create this person they want to invest in, I guess, or they're an extension of the mother's social structure or whatever. There's so many different avenues related to children, and I think for men they want them to have certain skill sets, survival skill sets, and other things like that, which, you know, they will gain certain ones from their mum. But they might want other sorts of dealings, you know, gain things from their father, ways of dealing with things, or just to sort of build their character up. Because men like to play with kids, I guess. That's possibly they can give that level of attention. Why sometimes mums can be a bit more serious around family matters, I guess. Family matters. That'd be a great movement there. Doing. So there's basically we have different roles and jobs as within the parentship, let's put it that way. And when the relationship breaks down, this feels like a download of information I'm getting on this one. That it's a bit of pick and mix. So you'll function as the player, the supporter, social engagement. Confidence, other maybe male traits in there. It's simply because we're not so sensitive to getting embarrassed about things, or being exiled by groups of people. We tend to stick fairly independent men, but when they become a bit more cohabiting and stuff like that, we can become quite clingy as well on the other end of the spectrum, because it's not something we normally do. So the more clingy somebody is either A, they've always been raised like that, or they've never experienced this level of emotional attachment before, but they makes them scary to the other person, because they're acting like they're this drug, I need you, I want you, and all this sorts of stuff. So there's a thing where the relationship can break down because the parent chooses not to have that person in their life, and because in their mind that they've done what they were meant to do, which is to raise the child so they're sort of outgoing or strong, or they've got some skill sets in there. Or somebody wants to replace the male role model in some way. Or the other thing is maybe they'd said, right, well, he's gained all the experience with that male role model. Or it could be the other way around, it's different, you know, I don't know if it's a female relationship. You know, if it's like the child's with the male. I don't think he's necessarily funny. They can be. Men can sort of play games with women as well. Some serious head games. Because they want to cause her suffering. If they're like that, then they're not very good parents. They have to look at themselves. What are you teaching your child? And then what are you going to do to them in the long run? But it's when you move on, because that's the only way you can deal with a broken relationship past the point of you try everything, it's not working. You just got to either you keep hurting or you heal. And the only way you heal is you grieve. And that's even your own children. But the only issue with that is that you've got to live with this void, and then when you move on, it sometimes comes back into your life. I think you're always open to your children, but the thing is that you're sometimes faced with going backwards. So I've had like no contact with my daughter for a long time. And it's not that she's approached me to want contact, it's just things going on in her life, or somebody brought it up, and because I didn't really have an emotional reaction, so she's done really well, you know, it's great for her, but I didn't sort of like go yippee and lose it, because of the issues of this void. So it's like, oh, that's good news, but it wasn't insincere, it just, I'm not having an emotional attached reaction to it. But otherwise, if she was involved in my life, I'd be phoning her up and saying, really good, you know, well done, but it's not, so just got to deal with it. Anyway, speaking of enough from this sort of no contact, MGTOW type video, and speak to you soon.